to show how to change the oil in something that's a little harder than usual. Usually with something like this, you could just tip it over on its side. I don't know how much this weighs, but it's a lot. So you could just take off this, maybe put a container on the bottom, tip it over, spill it everywhere, potentially break the container, injure yourself. Or, I guess that's really the main part of it, you just don't want to injure yourself. Or you could do this. This is how I do them. This is good for a lot of things, generators, plate whackers. First thing, warm up the engine. I've been letting this run for about 5 minutes. I mean, I wouldn't want to touch it, let's just put it that way. Next, because it is warm, I like to not touch this. If you do, always wear gloves, so in case you do get oil on you, that you're not going to burn yourself. Put that where it's somewhere clean. As you can tell, it's low. There we are. Next, so let's make sure you can see all this too. Yeah, that's good. Make sure your oil pump is clean. There we are. So you are putting this inside of the engine. You don't want to introduce more garbage in there. I think this is made by Briggs & Stratton, but it's an oil and fuel pump. I've never really had too much luck with fuel with it. It just seems to be too thin, but it works great with oil. Like I said, this works good for generators, plate whackers, anything that's harder to change. Sometimes lawn tractors, they can be rather cumbersome to change. Heavy duty like lawnmowers, they can also be pretty interesting to change. So a lot of those will have like a drain on the side, and then the oil will just pop out. Sometimes through a little hole, and that never works. You'll just get oil everywhere. You can just put this through the fill and take out almost all of it, and then use their preferred method for the remaining, as so as you can keep it as clean as possible. In this situation, there is no such luck. We only have 2 fills, one on either side. Now, this is not the ideal way, but what we're going to do is right now, put that off to this side. The reason why I had the little blocks is I like to prop it up a little bit. Let's see if I can. Garage dog is going to get in the way, of course. There we go. Prop it so it's a little on an angle, towards you. That's going to change the oil. I know, good garage dog. Okay. Next, take this and shove it in there so you can feel the bottom. Start pumping. I guess it is rather important. On the ground, let gravity assist it a little better, or at least lower. So that's pretty nasty. You can tell it hasn't changed in a long time. Once you get to this point, kind of shove it a little bit further, see if you get any more. Nothing. So anyway, this isn't the preferred method because you will leave a little bit of oil in there. But as long as you don't leave a lot, it's not going to be the end of the world. It'll be fine. Your oil will just be 3% old and 97% new. I'm okay with that. So we can get the oil ready. Okay. Next, I took off the blocks. Grab the oil. Now it's level. This container says it's 10W40, but it's actually 10W30. I just use this as a measuring because I buy 5 quarts at a time. I don't want to measure or pour from the 5 quart. It's just a lot harder. Because this is going to take 12 to 14 ounces. Probably 14. Look up your specific one, but we'll be testing it anyway, so you kind of just want to start at that amount. Clean very thoroughly. We don't want this to make a seal because we want to have a little bit of air seep in, otherwise it's going to chug. Or you could take out the other side. Pour very slowly. I had about 28 ounces in here to begin with. So at 14 I should be at a half a quart. Maybe I can add an ounce or two, and we'll check it. Now, if you fill too much, don't worry. If it starts pouring over, that's fine. You're not going to have to worry too much about it. And in Hondas, you just stick it in. You don't actually... Oh yeah, we're good. You want it to be around there, but anywhere from then forward is acceptable. You just don't want any lower than that mark. Let me show you that a little easier. So you see that center mark? That's the ideal one you want to be at. Like I said, anything that's closer to the end is fine, but you don't want to be down here. That's too low. When I took it out, it was maybe a quarter of the way in between here and the top, so we're good to go. Like I said, filling it too much is not going to be the end of the world. But having a little oil, that can cause damage. So checking your oil on this particular type is how I just showed you. Now, usually they're all the same, but you're going to want to check your dipstick and see exactly where it is, and some of them have hash marks, some of them say full and empty, just whatever it needs to be. Just check that, but just make sure you put enough in there. So now, that's it. That's pretty easy. With these at least, the ones that have like a pressurized oil system, those are a little bit more complicated because you have to deal with the fuel filter. But this whole thing, it's pretty easy. That's why you should always do it. 99% of the time, 10W30. If you live in a warm climate, you can just get away with straight 30. Technically the manual says straight 30, but when it's cold, it's just better. It just gives yourself a little bit more leeway, because you don't want to have too thick of oil in there when it's cold. This machine probably never gets used in the cold, but if it did, let's say this type of engine's on a snow thrower or a blower, then it would be in the cold. You would most definitely want to have a lighter weight oil. So follow the instructions on the ounces, but just kind of make sure generally what oil you're going to get. If it's a straight 30, put 10W30 in there, be on the safe side. And that's about it. To dispose of it, I would highly recommend you contact your local sanitation area. They usually have a way for you to drop it off. Sometimes, like in my area, I can put like a 5-quart container, as long as it is an actual oil container full, and then you don't want to put gasoline or anything in there as well, because they'll notice. But that's a good place to just check. A lot of auto stores sometimes will take it. Just kind of look around, but check those 2 places. Usually, you'll find one of those will do it. But yeah, that's about it. We're gonna want to run, check for leaks just to make sure I don't suspect anything. But this is how you change the oil in a difficult mounted machine where you can't easily tip it over. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Definitely like and subscribe. It definitely helps me out a lot. I will catch everyone later. If you have any ideas for other how-tos, then also leave a comment below. I'll catch everyone later.